Hello and welcome. I am Adri Gregan, and I'm back for more Jujutsu Kaisen Season 1. Today we're here with Episode 13. It seems to be the end of the first cour, and the end of this Junpei arc, even though Junpei seems to no longer be around, tragically. Last time, obviously, that happened. We had our encounter with Junpei and Yuji. And it started off with quite a bit of fisticuffs. We learned about Yuji's powers. He held up surprisingly well against Yuji, but it didn't really end with a decisive victor because Yuji realized that he wasn't really connecting with Junpei. He was making a lot of assumptions about him and not really trying to understand the world from his perspective, what he was doing. So he did that, and immediately things de-escalated. And it was heartbreaking because we saw a glimpse of a future that could have been. A world where Junpei might have joined Jujutsu Tech and had new friends and had newfound family. And presumably he's gone. That won't happen. I guess who knows, maybe he'll be revived. I've got a feeling he won't. I've got a feeling that this pit in my stomach won't really go away. As you can tell, I'm wearing the same clothes. This is right after watching it, so these last two episodes have been quite a lot, and I've got a feeling this one won't be a whole lot lighter. So regardless, we'll get through it. This will be the end of the session, and presumably next time we'll have a new OP, new ED. We'll have the new cour going on because it looks like the Kyoto Sister School tournament arc is about to begin. So that's exciting. It's hard to think about that though with what's going on. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Mahito realized that Yuji is kind of his natural enemy, able to just strike his soul pretty easily. And also his plan to get Sukuna to form a pact with Yuji fell apart. Yuji actually almost immediately fell into their plans, but Sukuna said, yeah, no, I've got my own plans. And then he and Mahito ended up becoming friends by ridiculing Yuji together. Mahito immediately spent that good grace, though, by daring to touch Sukuna's soul, trying to idol transfiguration him, and Sukuna did not like that. And we learned that Yuji is not the only one who Mahito can't really compete against. Thankfully, Mahito doesn't really have to fight against Sukuna. Not thankfully, though, he now has to fight against his rematch against Nanami. First one didn't go super well. So with Nanami and Yuji here, who's just ignoring all of his injuries and just going straight out, things are not looking great for Mahito. I'm curious. I assume he's going to retreat, or Geto's going to have to intervene and save him. But yeah, Yuji's very understandably not in a good way. And frankly, I'm not either. I should have waited a little longer since watching the last episode, but I want to get this over with. Hopefully it ends with a slightly better taste in my mouth at the end of this, but it's really good. It's a really good arc to kind of finish off this first cour. And yeah, let's just see how it ends. Without any further ado, let's get into it. If you are new here, I do full reactions. I don't cut them down. However, on YouTube, the audio and the visuals will be edited to avoid copyright. The unedited version is in the description. However, the episode breakdown analysis is only on YouTube. So if you go down there to watch it, make sure to come back here afterwards for the discussion, the breakdown. And if you have any comments, anything about the episode of the show that you want to bring up with me, please do leave in the comments. I would love to open a discourse with you. If you want to join me on my journey to finish JJK before Season 3 drops in January, please go ahead, subscribe, and like it, just to help me boost me in the algorithm a little bit. I would really appreciate that. Regardless, let's get all that housekeeping out of the way. Let's jump into Jujutsu Kaisen Season 1, Episode 13. Starting off, about the atmosphere I was expecting. The OST of the show is quite good. Filling with the dejection of the atmosphere. But I'm stronger than him. That's a crazy face. Expressions in the show are top notch.
ここで確実に払います。
Sounds good to me. Somehow doubt it, but do your best. Ooh. I don't love that.
まずは七三術師から片付けるか。
The show loves its motion blur. It works really well. Also, these continuous shots are good.
これいいと思ったんだけどな。
He's still experimenting.
かわされた後強度の弱い端から消せ
He's a lot bolder at experimenting now that after he's encountered Nanami. Really is like a kid.
よろしい。
形を小さくしたままでも虎杖裕二に一撃で仕留められる危険がある。本当に天敵だな。ちょっとおとなしくしてもらおうか。
改造人間。まだストック。
That answers where he stores them.
単発のガキを殺せ。
Were those what were in the Jujutsu Stroll last time? These little creatures? I feel bad about laughing at that now.
人間殺せないだろう。
So creepy. Oh. Yeah. They act like human. Oh. 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 I'm not okay with that art, that everything. Like, curses have always looked different, like separated from the world. This is something else.
それは違います。彼は今まさにそのすり合わせの真っ最中。どちらかといえば、バカはあなたです。
You who doesn't reconcile with anything. He's in the middle of growth, you're not.
こっちのネタは上がっている。インパクトの直線に形を変え。
There it is. Once we got him, just beat the living snot out of him. He's loving it. Ooh. He's loving it. New experience. I don't like this reaction at all. What's he about to do with his own soul? That's what he was gonna try. Oh, the smoothness of his... Perfection. The opposite of growth, sure enough. Wow. What an opener. Holy crap. One thing I haven't really praised much about the show, I haven't brought it up much, but it knows exactly where to put its opening and where to put its ending. It's really good at placing them. It doesn't just do some recap for the opening, and it doesn't, sometimes it does, but it rarely just gives you like a tiny sliver. Usually actually gives you something to think about during the opening. I really appreciate, but it's also just really good in stories in general. Like, I don't think there's been a single point in all 13 episodes so far where I've been like, oh, it like cuts in the middle of things, right? Which a lot of shows do. Shows do that sometimes, but I haven't felt that once here yet. They know exactly where to put them, and it's really good. surprisingly difficult to do. Or at least it seems that way from experience. Get into it. See you tomorrow. So he's probably gonna leave. Oh, he just got him. I didn't even notice that. Because he wants to deal with him.
領域展開。呪力で構築した聖徳領域内で必殺の術式を必中必殺へと昇華する。
I wonder if this is going to be...
到達できなかった呪術の極致。
I could never obtain. I wonder if this is going to be a demonstration of... This is his first time using it, so he's probably not going to be very good with it.
しかしそれが必中の領域内となれば、私は今。
You've got to bank on the fact that he doesn't exactly know how to use it.
クソ。呪術師はクソだ。他人のために命を投げ出す覚悟を時として仲間に強要しなければならない。だからやめた。
Elaboration on his comment. That's why. Oh.
好きなんですか？カスクート。
Oh, we're getting his past. Okay.
いつも決まってこれですよね。
So he quit.
いや、はい。近所のコンビニで売られなくなってしまって。
美味しいでしょう。コンビニのより。
So great when you...
パン屋ですから。
When a place is familiar with you well enough, they can do that. It's like, this is what you like, right? It's a great building feeling of community.
用途放っておいても問題ないでしょう。下手に処理してヘンテコ霊媒師と思われても面倒だ。
Didn't take you for someone who cares about your public image.
お金を預かるということは人生を預かるということでもあります。利益追求とリスクのバランスは言わずもがなですね。初めは何も特別なことをする必要はありません。お客に対して真摯であること。それだけは忘れずに。はい。
Don't put too much energy into it. That's what he said with Yuji when we met him. Cherry boy, that's crazy.
それがクライアントの利益にもコネクション。
伸びしろのないクズ株を口八丁で買わせてもですか。
Of course。マーケット
でに
らめっこしてるアスに対する正当なマニーだ。ななみ、2年目だろ。お前はクレバーだ。もっと暴れてくれ。期待してんだから。
自分はやりがいとか生きがいなんてものとは無縁の人間。3、40歳までに適当に稼いで、あとは物価の安い国でふらふらと人生を謳歌する。高専を出て4年、寝ても覚めても金のことだけを考えている。呪いも他人も金さえあれば無縁でいられる。金。金さえあれば。
大丈夫ですか？ちゃんと寝れてます？
あなたこそ疲れが溜まっているように見えますが。
あ、わかっちゃいました？最近なんか肩が重いというか。眠りも浅いし。
私の仕事はお金持ちの人からお金を預かってその人をよりお金持ちにする。だいたいそんな感じです。正直私がいなくても誰も困りません。パン屋がないとパンを食べたい人が困りますよね。でもなぜかそういう人間のサイクルを
You're more valuable than me, yet I get paid more. World doesn't make sense.
冷静に考えるとおかしな話ですよね。
自慢？
違います。
すいません、私にはちょっと難しかった。
一歩前へ出てもらえますか？肩どうですか？
Feels better.
あれ、軽い。
違和感が残るようでしたら病院へ。失礼します。
He's a good person. At his core. Beautiful smile.
生きがいなどというものとは無縁の人間だと思っていた。もしもし、ナナミです。お話が。
Sometimes living is the reason.
明日にでも高専に伺い、何を笑ってるんですか?
I knew you'd be back.
君に感謝を。
Oh, his idol transfiguration also can't miss.
必要ありません。それはもう大勢の方にいただきました。悔いはない。
No. Yuji broke through the... What?
そうか。結界内からの耐性を上げるほど外からの攻撃に弱くなる。
Really?
領域は閉じ込めることに特化した結界。逆に侵入することはたやすい。
Interesting.
なぜなら侵入者にメリットがないから。
There's no merit in doing
無料
so.
空所や自閉円鈍化のように。
Because you wouldn't want to put yourself into
領
that.
域に引き入れた時点で価値が確定する。
Yeah, you wouldn't want to walk into the trap.
しか
He's
し、
here to save him.
虎杖君のうちには触れてはいけないものがある。
That was really cool.
二度はないと。天上天下唯我独尊。己の快不快のみが生きる指針。お前が死のうと、お前が死のうと、どうでもいい。
I cut of him just like struggling and just.
心底どうでもいい。
Okay, they got some animator on this that is new to the project. This episode is different. Even with falling pieces. This episode is different. He's just done. It's crazy. So he went into the domain and basically forced Mahito to touch his soul, which triggered Sukuna. That's crazy. And he didn't even mean to do it. Wow. What a development.
領域展開なんて呪力消費だ。まさに切り札の最終奥義。それを少なめ。だがここが瀬戸際。絞り出せ最後の呪力を。的がでかい。呪力の流れもないでいる。カウンターはない。確実に攻撃を当てられる最後のチャンス。駆け引きはもういらない。決定権。なんだこの手応えのなさは。
Yeah. Yeah. Distraction. Ooh. Nanami's fast. But not fast enough.
本丸が排水溝から逃走しました。
Not giving up. Good.
私といた地点から東南に向けてしらみつぶしにお願いします。今なら君でも払える。私たちも追いましょう。
He's not in a good way. Push himself too far. Yeah, he's got a lot of holes in him. And probably they used up a lot of cursed energy, which was probably just keeping them going. By the skin of your teeth. Ugh. The red filter. Don't like that at all.
両面少な。現時点ではジョーガより呪力の総量では劣るはず。なのに、
completely different beast.
魂の格が違う。これは確信だ。俺たちが全滅しても、スクナさえ復活すれば呪いの時代が来る。
呪いの時代。
しかし参ったな。俺は今、どうしようもなく虎杖裕二を殺したい。
Mutual feelings of desire to murder. Sure enough, these two are on parallel tracks. Now his life's mission is gonna be to torment Yuji. That doesn't bode well.
継ぎはぎの術式は他人の魂に干渉する。君が領域に侵入したことでスクナの魂に触れてしまったのでしょう。おかげで助かりました。
Even though he didn't even realize.
困ってねえよ。スクナが出たのではなく、奴が入ったんです。じゃあ助けたのは俺じゃない。こいつの気まぐれだ。
It's only because you chose to invade.
俺は今日人を殺したよ。人は死ぬ。それは仕方ない。ならせめて正しく死んでほしい。そう思ってたんだ。だから引き金を引かせないことばかり考えてた。でも自分で引き金を引いて分かんなくなったんだ。正しい死って何？そんなこと私にだって分かりませんよ。善人が安らかに、悪人が罰を受け死ぬことが正しいとしても、世の中の多くの人は善人でも悪人でもない。死は万人の執着ですが、同じ死は存在しない。それらをすべて正しく導くというのはきっと苦しい。私はお勧めしません。
Perhaps a bit arrogant.
などと言っても、君はやるのでしょうね。死なない程度にしてくださいよ。今日君がいなければ私が死んでいたように、君を必要とする人がこれから大勢現れる。虎杖君はもう呪術師なんですから。
You have a responsibility not to die so you can save people. Now he's got a lot to confront. A lot to think about. We're gonna see a new character. Or is this gonna be the unexpected connections he never knew he had?
吉野のあの傷、お前がやったんだな、伊藤。
あん時ブルって何もできなかった人に、ああだこうだ言われたくないんすけど。学校辞めて引っ越したんだろあいつ。もうよくね。つうか俺、あれから左腕まともに動かねえんすけど。
今聞いてるのは罪の話だ。お前に下った罰については一人で噛み締めろ。
先生の罰は？
俺はこれからだ。まずは見えていなかったものをちゃんと見る。
Interesting.
俺もお前も吉野の心を殺した罪を一生背負って生きていくんだ。見ているからな、伊藤。
Adult versus a child, right? Different perspectives, having different interpretations of what happened. He's a man child, but he's getting close to being an adult at least.
わかるまで。あいつを殺すまで。
And Yuji's starting to find his conviction. Holy shit.
負けない。
That's been... Okay. Juju's Temple. Yay! Sukuna. Okay, so we're gonna see the Kyoto school. Gonna get into that. Feels like it's been forever since we've seen you. What was that Yuji like? Picture in the background. He's here in spirit. Oh yeah, because he's dead to them.
俺です。簡単にできますよ。
Hidden cooking talent. Got a little cooking show here. Dun, 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 dun.
伏黒って自炊すんのね。意外でもねえけど。
That's cute.
これは虎杖に教わった。
Oh really? Immediately the atmosphere is just heavy.
そっか。虎杖の遺作。それは違くねえか。
And they're like eating the same thing. Oh, that's funny. Because he taught him how to make it. Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. Even Fushiguro could make him. Backhanded compliment. That's gonna be quite the reunion, isn't it? Okay. We finished up what is, without question, the heaviest arc of the show so far. That was very necessary, though, a very significant step on Yuji's journey, right? Towards finding conviction. We'll talk about that in a minute, but yeah. The expressions are so good in this episode, in this show, I mean. So consistently good. Animation's obviously really good, the action. It's a battle shonen, so it makes sense. It better be good, but Yuji struggling with people that you have to kill, and presumably we don't know actually if he does or not. I think he did, though. I think that's the implication. And then he does his first, all those like hands, just arms connecting. This guy's the embodiment of being unsettling. This is really interesting. This is quite an unusual, actually, no, quite a usual story, right? But unusual because you don't usually see it in our shonen. Doesn't want to make things complicated. And yeah, he's a portfolio manager, presumably. Doesn't matter what happens with the client as long as we profit, making the rich richer, market makers, all that stuff. No concept of a reason for living or something worth doing. And so at the very least, I just need to make money and live a comfortable life. Both of them are feeling heavy. And he just starts opening up to her because he doesn't really have a reason not to. And he wants to share appreciation with her even if he doesn't necessarily know it himself. People wouldn't mind if I was gone. People wouldn't mind if you were gone. And yet my job, which is unnatural, pays better because you're helping the rich people. And the rich will pay you for that. Are you bragging? No. But I'll make things a little easier for you. Who's more valuable than me? Thank you. Did you not hear me? Thank you. Very cute. Then he comes back and Gojo probably had something along the lines of, oh, that wasn't long. I figured you'd be back, but it was even sooner than I expected. Something like that. And he basically accepts his death. I've received enough gratitude. I don't need it from you. And we learned that you can break into a domain expansion fairly easily, but you just don't. Because, yeah, it's where they're home, so you don't want to throw yourself into their trap. The whole point is that it's supposed to trap your enemy, so if your enemy breaks in, then it's like there's no point of that. So it's not supposed to be defended. And by doing so, he inadvertently connects souls with Sukuna, and Sukuna drags him in and says, I warned you. And he's just done. Just like that. He tries to strike, but of course he gets away. And he's just out because he has taken way too much damage. And then they mentioned the Age of Curses, the King of Curses. I don't think we've heard those terms before, but they make sense, all things considered. And how they've been talking about how they want to create the next humanity, world where the current structure is switched, where curses are on top and humans are the ones that are fighting for their lives, basically. And now we've got rivals, in a sense. Two people who desperately want to kill each other. I had a feeling these two would come head-to-head with their ideologies and what they believe and just how they are, and sure enough. Yeah, sure enough. You saved me. It was his whim. Yet it was your actions that caused that. Whether you knew it or not, it was you stepping in, throwing yourself into danger when you didn't need to. That saved Nanami, so you did save him. I'm pretty sure he just says, Hito o koroshita. Yeah, I killed people today, so he killed those three, presumably. People die, there's no stopping that. I want them to have proper deaths, and we finally revisit the idea of proper deaths. I was always thinking about how I could keep that trigger from being pulled. But now I have the trigger myself. Because if I kill people, if I'm trying to save people from being killed so they can have proper deaths, then me killing them is certainly not a proper death, right? So how am I supposed to kill people and give them proper deaths? That doesn't make sense. But then he goes in the much more productive direction for him, the much more growth-oriented direction. He realizes that he doesn't really know what a proper death is. It's something that intuitively makes sense, but if you asked it to him, he would give you a blank stare, most likely, almost certainly. Nanami doesn't know what it either, because, yeah. Even if good people die peacefully and evil people are punished as proper, most are neither good nor evil, right? It's the complication. It's what we were talking with Yoshino. It's not that easy. That's why those temptations, the worldview that allows you to do what you want, is so tempting, because it allows you to avoid having to face the excruciating truth that the world just isn't that simple. Nothing's that simple. Even two people who die similarly don't die the same death. Trying to guide them all to their proper end would surely be arduous. And I mentioned it before, and arrogant to a degree, assuming that you know what a proper death is. To a degree, that's kind of saying that I know what's best for you, right? I know what would be the best death for you. And to a point, like, yeah, you can say that. You can say, like, dying peacefully, like what we've said is kind of our stopgap for what a proper death is. But at the end of the day, it's really up to that person to define what their vision of a proper death would be. Trying to decide it for them is arrogant, yeah, to a degree. But at least to the ends that Yuji wants to do it, it's not bad, right? Because he's saving people. He's trying to avoid them from what he knows is the proper death. Even if he doesn't know what a proper death is, he knows what is an improper death. It's being murdered. It's having your life cut short, especially by someone else. So saving people isn't wrong. There's no argument there. The issue comes when you have to kill somebody to save something else. And a nice sentiment of, don't die. You're a Jujutsu sorcerer. You have a responsibility to live so you can save more people. And then we see some repercussions. Somebody who was a bystander watching the bullying happen, and feeling the effects now. Perhaps we'll see more of her later, perhaps not. And the adult, the man-child, the half-adult, is becoming more of an adult, while the child is being a child. You can't judge either of them too much. They're all reacting in their own ways. It's good to see that he's really taking it, though, and internalizing it. He's realizing the life he's been living, the passive life. And that's, like Yuji, it's progress, right? It's moving towards a direction that you want to go in, to have a better life, to have a better effect on the world. Until I understand what a proper death is, until I kill Mahito, I won't lose again. Until I figure out my conviction. Sure enough, right? The open thread that was left by the principal accepting him, noticing that he had potential, it's being built out. I had a feeling this was the case, and I'm glad to see it's playing out as it is, and it's given the weight and the importance that it's being given. Because conviction is important, right? You need it in order to do anything really, but especially in order to do a job like this. But you need conviction. You need to find out who you are. You need to find out why you're doing something. And the harder something is, the more certain your conviction needs to be. So Yuji did have a good starting place. He has a sense of duty, but he needs to define his terms. He needs to figure out what is a proper death. He needs to figure out what he's willing to do to give others proper death, how he's willing to balance lives, weigh lives. Because unlike Mahito, he does value the importance of lives. And enemies have lives too. They have hearts too. And now he needs to weigh those. It's not an easy thing to do. It's not something I claim to pretend to do or to be able to do, but he's starting on this journey. He's growing. I think I mentioned it earlier this episode or maybe last episode, but I mentioned the dichotomy between Yuji and Mahito. How Yuji is growing while Mahito, and we saw it, it was this episode because we saw his domain expansion. Where was it? Where he says what it's called. Self-embodiment of perfection. It's on the nose, right? He's growing and he's like testing new things. He's exploring his limits, but he isn't actually growing, not mentally. He has a worldview and he's created from that worldview. So it's not like he's a human. You can't expect him to want to grow like others because he's the embodiment of emotions. So it makes sense that he considers himself a perfect being, a complete being that he just needs to fill out. But that is inherently in contrast to Yuji, right? Who is wrestling with things. Who, as Nanami said, here we go. He's a foolish brat who can't reconcile reality and his ideals, is what Mahito claims. But no, he's working on it right now. He's growing. Showing your flaws is not something, someone else showing your flaws is not something you should ridicule them for, right? It's the opposite. If he's wrestling with these things, it doesn't mean he's weak. It means he is working on getting stronger. It means he is facing them and he is being forced to overcome them, being forced to come to terms with them. And that is growth. It's not the same growth that Mahito's going to where he's learning about himself, but it's growth in a much deeper sense, in a much more fundamental sense, as Mahito would say, growth of his soul. And that's far more significant, far more lasting and impactful than just thinking you're perfect and basically just needing to fill out your own vessel. It is incredibly different. And Yuji's going to make far more progress than him as a result. I would say you're the fool. Exactly. He is the fool. Because he doesn't see mental growth. He sees the state they're in now and basically attributes that to them, right? And that's the fatal mistake here. That's the fatal mistake that Mahito's making. This just makes me smile. And after all the heaviness of the last couple episodes, I think I could use a little bit of smiling. I could use a little bit of something to lighten me up. It's really wholesome. It's why, even though right now I live in the city, I live in downtown Chicago, but I really do like the kind of suburban, the smaller life, the smaller town life. I really like the idea of visiting somewhere so often that the people know you, right? Even though they're just workers, they're effectively putting on an act, they're putting on a face to deal with customers, but if you interact enough, it's the nature of humanity, right? We're social creatures. We love building community, so a community does form. And they appreciate it. And it's nice to see these kind of things building out. You always buy this one, right? I know you because you come here often. And that part isn't an act, right? Those are the highlights of working in a service job, of connecting with customers that are regulars, of getting to know somebody, even though you don't really get to know them. You only see them during work hours. You still forge this connection. And it's a genuine connection. And it's a genuine community. And I think it's something that Nanami would benefit incredibly from realizing and from internalizing. He mentions that her job, that she would be missed because people would lose their source of bread, and that would be sad. They wouldn't like that. But if he were to be gone, then the rich would just be slightly less rich if he stopped working. But if he were to go away, if he were to die, then she would be sad. All the people he's interacted with, the community that he's been built into, that you can't not be built into unless you're just like a hikikomori or just a recluse. You can't avoid being part of a community, so you can't avoid these connections. And that's what we saw, right, with Yoshino and with that girl, with the teacher, with that Ito guy. I hate that I remember his name because it's super easy to remember. I don't need to remember his name. I'm really going to try to forget it. But we see these repercussions, right? We see this community. We see the ripples happening when somebody dies. And I hope that the story starts exploring that. I hope that Nanami gets to start realizing that community is there, and that, as I mentioned it during the episode, he doesn't have a reason for living, but living can be the reason sometimes. You don't need some big purpose. I know we just had this big talk about conviction, but this is different, right? That was Yuji's conviction for being a Jujutsu sorcerer. This is just for living, though. For living, you don't necessarily need that crazy conviction. At least you don't need to find it right away. You don't need to feel like you're flawed or like something's wrong if you don't have it. It's okay for living to just be the reason for living. It's okay for that to be circular logic, because living is the reason. As long as you're living a life, you're building this community. You're connecting with other people. You're influencing others, even if you're not saving lives or you're not running a store, you're not giving people their bread. You just living your life is being part of the community and is forging bonds and is affecting people and is creating a positive impact. So that's why I say when I mean living can be the reason for living. That's okay. Maybe not forever. It's good to find a reason. It's good to go on that journey. But just like how last episode, I believe, I was mentioning how, and Nanami was mentioning how it's okay to be a child. It's not a sin to be a child. You shouldn't rush out of it. You also shouldn't rush into finding a purpose for living. Let these things run their course. Let these things take their time. It will work out. You just got to be patient and let your life run its course. Let your individual, unique life run its course. You know? And on that much more positive note than the rest of the episode, I'm going to leave it off here. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you for listening. If there's anything that I talked about that you want to bring up, anything you want to add, or anything you think I missed, or something you disagree with even, please leave it in the comments. I would love to open a discourse with you, to engage with you. It's the happiest part, the favorite part of my job is when I get to really discuss these things, because it's great to mold over my head, but I'm just one person. So if other people share their thoughts too, we can really get this discourse going, and we can really get the value out of this. So it stops. So instead of being escapism, these shows become the opposite. They become things that we add to our lives rather than to leave it, to hide from it. And I think that's so valuable. But regardless, leave a like, subscribe if you want to join my journey to finish JJK before season 3 comes out. That would be awesome. I'm looking forward to that. And if you're looking forward to it as much as I am, yeah, please join me along. But regardless, whatever you choose to do, I should play. Regardless, whatever you choose to do, until next time, have a lovely rest of your day.